What is going on, YouTube? My name is Aiden, aka A2YC, also on Instagram and TikTok. I'm a 19-year-old barber from Ohio. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a high taper into some curls. And a lot of people, they get scared when they see they got a shear cut curls. So starting with that first, I'm going to show you guys how I get that done. How we are going to start off this process is by saturating the hair. When it comes to curls, you don't want to cut it when it's halfway dry or halfway wet. So we're going to make sure that this is really saturated. Once we get the hair wet and we're able to actually work with it, we're going to start off with the bangs first. This is going to be our quote-unquote first guideline when it comes to the shear cut. And how we go about this is to come it straight down onto the forehead and just cut it straight across. When it comes to curly hair, you don't have to worry about texture cutting in the front because it's all gonna lay naturally. And to finish the rest of the top, we're gonna have to split it off into two sections originally so we can separate it from the back and the top. When it comes to the top part now, as you guys can see, I'm starting to create three sections. Really, it's two long side sections and then one skinny middle section. That middle section is what we're going to use to create our quote-unquote second guideline. Once we finish that second guideline, going all the way to the back, we are then going to comb it over to one side, which is, we're going to start with the left side. And as you guys can see, I'm picking up from the front, but using part of that middle section where we created that guideline. That guideline is a traveling guideline, so we're going to see it every time we pick up the hair moving back. Doing so is going to ensure we have a nice, clean, even cut. And what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other side. So we're going to take part of that section that we just cut, bring it down the middle and comb it over to the other side. Again, we're leaving that hair for the hairline, and we're going to find that guideline and just follow it. And now sometimes when it comes to cutting curls, it can be a lot awkward because the hair tends to want to curl up at the top where you're trying to cut. So to kind of deal with this the best way we possibly can is to just have a tight hold on it and bring it up as much as possible to where you're going to cut. And that finishes the top portion of the shear cut. So now we're going to work our way to the back. As you can see, like how we did with the top when we split into three sections, we're going to do the same thing for the back. And so when we get this split off into our three sections, we are going to create our initial guideline down the middle. As you can see, I'm coming 90 degrees right off the head. And what this does is to ensure the shape that we're trying to create with this. We're trying to go for a little bit of a more square shape. So that is exactly what it is going to do. And again, just like how we did with the top, we're gonna comb it over to one side, find that traveling guideline that we had just set, and then cut. Really, the only difference between the top and the back right now is the fact that we are moving down the head. We are still gonna keep on picking up the same amount of hair and still following our guideline. And again, what we do to one side, gotta do it to the other side. So we're gonna take a section of that hair that we just cut and bring it over to this left side. Again, we're combing out the same amount of hair, cutting the same amount of hair. As you guys can see, this is easy once you have somebody who really just breaks this down for you and shows you how to do it. So if you've been able to take away one thing from this video so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can get put on to more free game. And now when it comes to sectioning off the sides, we're going to section at the parietal ridge. And once we do so, we're going to take diagonal sections, starting where that taper is going to be. We're really going to try to get as close as we can to our fingertips. This is to help make a smooth blend into the bulk. And then once we do so, we're gonna find that guideline and follow it, traveling down the side of the head. And as you can see, we're following all the way through these sections that we are combing out. And if you're a hooper, your follow through with your shear cut is just as important as your follow through with your jumper. Corny or not, you guys get the gist. Let's go. And once we get these sides evenly cut, we're gonna move to the blow drying process. And now some people might think blow drying is like easy, which it is, but you gotta add to your bag to know what to do for certain types of hair textures as well as certain types of cuts. So what we're gonna do with these curls today is that we're gonna add a diffuser to our blow dryer, and on warm heat we're gonna go in, and what this does for the curls is brings out the definition and makes the hair not so poofy, which ultimately complements the curls. As you can see, as I'm blow drying the hair, I'm scrunching it. I'm kind of just playing around with it for multiple reasons. Most importantly is really to detangle or to unclump the curls so they sit well, as well as to help dry it up. Whenever it's all in clumps, it's a little harder to dry. Now, after finalizing our blow drying, as you can see, the shape that we have is amazing. It's amazing to work with for sure. Now what we're gonna do is start the hot taper process. So what I do is I set my guidelines all the way around first. And when I set in my guidelines with my tapers, I don't mind pressing just because I'm working with a smaller area than I would a fade. But if you guys have trouble getting that ball line out even with the tapers, then just come up instead of pressing. After we create that ball line with our trimmers, we're then gonna come right underneath it with the foil shavers. And what this is gonna do is create that real clean look for our fade to make it really pop. As you can see, when I get closer to the hair, I flip the trimmer around. I really am just using the singular foil shaver. When you get to the top, you flick. This helps to not create such a harsh line to get out. And now we're gonna start off with our 2-guard all the way open to debulk this side taper, and then closing it up all the way to kind of just clean it up a little bit more. And how to get that clean, crisp neckline up and behind the ear. What I do is I come with my 2-guard as well, all the way closed, and I just scoop out just enough to knock down those hairs, but also keep that bulk on the side. Once we got the prep work done, we're gonna come in with our no guard all the way open. And as you can see, I was really just flicking at the top of that. Once we come in and set our first guideline, we're then gonna close it up halfway and go about halfway through that guideline. And then lastly, closing it up all the way to knock that bottom line out. If you still see that bottom line, come back up with your trimmer and flick at it. And as you can see, I was kind of doing some detail work with my corners, which you'll see me do it throughout the whole fade process. And the point of me doing it is to get any dark spots that I'm seeing within the fade. Setting our next guideline, we did it with the 1. We started with that open, especially in the corner, and then we closed it up for the rest of it. We're then gonna come in with our half guard, halfway open, and we're gonna come up halfway through that guideline. And the reason why we try to keep these corners dark is to make it look enhanced without enhancements. And we're then gonna close up our half guard all the way, knocking out that final line. We're then lastly, for our last guideline, gonna come in with our 1.5 guard. We're gonna again flick at this bulk to ensure we're not creating any harsh lines and to have a smooth transition into the curls. We're then going to follow up with our 1 guard, again halfway open. Making it repetitive for our fade helps us to stay consistent. It doesn't always have to be crazy to do the best work. As y'all can see, so far this fade is coming out super nice, super blurry. We are then going to close our 1 guard all the way to knock out that last line. And now, as you can see, all we're left with is the bulk into the curls. And how I attack it is doing shear over comb. And a lot of people do clipper over comb, but the reason why I choose shears is just because for me, I feel like it's a little bit more precise for myself. If y'all can do clipper, go ahead. Definitely not knocking you. Actually, I give you props. We're doing a little pre-lineup on this, and as you can see, like I said earlier, it looks enhanced and there is absolutely no paint on there. And now to finish off this side, we're gonna go ahead and finish the rest of this fade on the beard. Earlier in the video, if you guys peep, I had actually already went in with my clipper closed to open, and then now we had just set in a guideline with our one, and then we're gonna come in with our half guard halfway open. So it's obviously pretty much exactly what we just did for the hair, just it's a bit easier on the beard because it's a little lighter. And the beard needs as much love as the taper do. So as you're gonna see that we're still gonna put in that detail work, make this fade and the beard really pop. We're then gonna set another guideline with our 1.5, following up with our one guard halfway open to close. And then to blend with the thickness of the beard, we're gonna come in with our 1.5 halfway open, and we're going to close as we need to. And now when it comes to lining up the beard, we're gonna make sure that we comb all of that to the side so that we get every single hair. And just like how you would do a C cup, we're gonna mark our 2 points at the top and the bottom, and then we're just gonna connect it. As you can see, we added a little bit of curve at that bottom. For me personally, I think it looks a lot better. Some clients might like it straight, so just make sure you have that consultation with them. And then I did the same thing to the other side. Me personally, I like to do the 2 side tapers and then the back. I feel like that helps me connect everything a lot better. Starting with this back taper, again, we made our first guideline with our no guard all the way open. And then we're gonna just close it up until we get that bottom line out. We are then gonna come in with our one guard all the way closed to set that next guideline. And then we're gonna follow it up with our half guard halfway open. And then again, we're gonna close it to get that line out in between. Doing our detail work as we go. Last guideline we're gonna set is our 1.5. Again, like we did on the side, we're gonna come into it flicking so that we don't create that harsh line. And then following up with our one guard halfway open. And lastly, all the way to close to get that line out in between. And then to create that smooth transition into the curls, I do comb clipper over comb. The reason why I do it for the back and not the side tapers is because there's a lot more room to work with. On the side, I'd rather go for the more precise option, which would be the shears, for me personally. And then now to get into the most satisfying part of the cut, it's the neck lineup. Again, like how we did on the side tapers, how we kept the corners dark, we did the same thing for the back taper. So lining this up, you're gonna see that it looks stupid blurry, super AI, but it's all natural, baby. Come on. We're gonna line up around the ear as well and get this looking sharp. When it comes to lining up around the ears, as you can see, it's really mostly wrist work. When you really just limit to just your wrist, it helps you get that great round shape behind the ear. And now to revive my boy's hairline, how we're going to attack this is gonna come down on our 1.5. The 1.5 is gonna leave it a bit thick, also not too thin. If we make it too thin, it's not gonna be dark and it's not gonna be as crisp. And then now when it comes to lining it up, we're gonna start in the middle and make our first point, and we're gonna work our way to each side. We're gonna make sure we take our time because I'm pretty sure everybody knows the lineup is the most important part of the cut. It's like the cherry on top of the sundae. And now my boy does get that sauce. Whenever we do the enhancements, we want to make sure that we don't make this look like a paint job. The point of using enhancements is to enhance the cut. not create the cut. And now for the last part of this haircut is to razor it all in. So after we do the hairline and sidebars, we're gonna come in and do the beard lineup. To make it easier, especially around like the mustache area where I'm at right now, tell your client to blow a bubble. And if you couldn't tell, blowing a bubble is them blowing air to the side of their cheek. And what this does is it stretches the skin, so there's way less risk of cutting them. When it comes to using a razor, it might look like it, but really I'm just using the corner of the razor. If you use really the whole blade, again, there's a high risk of cutting them. So make sure you're just using the corners. And as you can see, this is looking fire. And they don't call me A2YC for no reason. So if you found this video super helpful, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, hit post notifications so you can stay in tune for every time I post. And you're gonna wanna do so, because every time I post, you get put onto free game.